On December 12th, the Senate passed the fiscal year 2015 National Defense Authorization Act, thus paving the way for the bill to be sent to the President for his signature. As always, the bill received strong support from PSC and the industry at large, as it sets the path forward for the department for the rest of this current fiscal year. Also, as always, the bill is chock full of acquisition-related provisions of interest to our community. First, there were a number of provisions in the bill that address the acquisition of federal IT. Many of those provisions mirror what was in the House-passed version of the bill and mirrored the Federal IT Acquisition Reform Act that was pushed by Congressman Darrell Issa and Congressman Jerry Conley. However, several of those provisions were excluded in the final version as well. First, here's a quick overview of what was included in terms of FTARA. New authorities were granted to CIOs in terms of making investment and hiring decisions. The bill also calls for greater efforts focused on the government-wide data center consolidation initiative, as well as efforts to improve the IT acquisition workforce by creating IT acquisition cadres that can be used as a resource across the government for agencies that are purchasing complex IT systems. The FTARA section of the bill also seeks to provide greater transparency into IT investments by codifying the IT dashboard that's being used on a government-wide basis now to track IT investments, and also seeks to improve the data that's being reported into the IT dashboards. For a list of the FTARA provisions that were ultimately excluded from the final version of the bill, click on the link below to go to our full summary, where you will see at the back a full list of FTARA excluded provisions. Also related to the department's investments in IT is a provision that seeks to push the department towards taking more open systems approaches to not just its IT investments, but also its investments in major automated information systems and its major defense acquisition programs. The bill continues to place caps on the total amount that the department can spend on services contracts. These provisions were first enacted in Section 808 of the FY12 NDAA. Although PSC has won some important improvements to the language over the last several years, the overall caps remain. The conferees for the bill note in the explanatory statement that the caps will likely remain in place until the department is better able to report its reliance on services contractors through its annual service contract inventory reporting. The bill also includes provisions that deal with prohibitions on contracting with the enemy. These provisions have been included in years past, but this year they're expanded to cover more federal agencies than just DoD, USAID, and the Department of State. PSC worked with the committees to make some important improvements to that language, namely around how due diligence by contractors can be defined to help them comply with the statutory language. Counterfeit electronic parts were also a focus of this year's bill. Specifically, this year's bill sought to create some clarifications around the term trusted suppliers and how trusted suppliers can be relied upon throughout the supply chain. The bill requires new cyber intrusion reporting by operationally critical contractors. Those provisions would also grant the department greater access to operationally critical contractors' networks to help them determine what led to the cyber attack, as well as what mitigating steps can be taken to address the attack and avoid future intrusions. In closing, passage of the bill is a positive development that's going to provide greater clarity to not only the department but also to the industry on the path that the department's going to take for the rest of the year and beyond. PSC supports its passage, and we're happy to see that we were able to make a number of improvements to the bill as it moved through the legislative process. Again, for a full summary of the bill, click on the link below, and if you have any questions, please contact any member of the PSC policy team.